Hi, and welcome to College Planning Untangled, where we help simplify the college planning process for families. I'm Kristin Clark with College Planning Untangled, and I'm here with Bobby Hood with Bobby Hood Online Tutoring. Bobby, what's the week looking like?
Well, this is spring break week for a lot of my students, and so I know a lot of them are at home or off on trips, and some of them are, doing some extra SAT and ACT work, getting ready for that stuff, and probably starting to think about college visits and stuff, right?
Well, and I know a lot of my clients are on college visits this week
Ooh,
too,
nice. Yeah,
especially as they're out even on vacation, they're
sure,
like, yeah, we threw a couple in there, so it's a good
absolutely.
topic for us this week.
Yeah, absolutely. And so for this week, yeah, it's just sort of like, okay, we talked about that last week. Yeah, if you're driving past a place, go have a college visit. If you're making a trip, see what colleges are near there. Even if it's a college you weren't really thinking of, just go visit because visiting any college is great, right? Just for learning what you need. But
Yeah.
today we wanted to talk a little bit about making your college list, right? Because when you first start thinking about it, the first thing you're probably going to do is say, well, I know a lot of people from my high school go here. And so I'd have a lot of friends if I went to, here in Texas, if I went to Baylor, or Texas, or TCU, or wherever, right?
Yeah, and I
But
want to
that's just the first step.
Yeah, and what I want to do is to set some expectations, Bobby, because there are lots of studies out there that tell you that it doesn't matter where you go to college.
Hmm.
What's important is what you do while you're there. And I think that kind
Right.
of sets the groundwork for, yes, look at the rankings and look at all the stuff, but at the
Mhm.
end of the day, what school fits your kid?
Absolutely right. Because otherwise you're just like, oh, this school has a good football team. So I've heard about them a lot or whatever. Right. And so really, I mean, it comes down to, if a student works with you and they can figure out what their strengths are and what major they want to be in, that's a big head start. Right.
Absolutely.
But also, I mean, so many people, and I was one of them, was like, I just searched, like when I was in high school, I just thought about colleges that were famous and had reputations and stuff. But like, I didn't think about, hey, I could go live somewhere that's near a beach for 4 years. I could go live somewhere in the mountains for 4 years, right? I didn't think about that at all, right? And I think post COVID, people are, now really more aware of like, okay, this is a place where I'm going to be living for 4 years or whatever, like I want to be happy there. I want to be, people are much more attuned to, self care and just being happy where you are, right?
Yes.
And
And I
that's
can
part
tell
of
you,
it,
yeah, and I can tell you too, like what I've noticed when working with my clients, the kids will have a very firm idea on I want to be far away, I want to be
right?
close by. So I think
Yeah,
that I mean that's a really easy one just from the get-go to go. If they want to be close by, then you know what schools you need to look at. They're going to be a little bit
sure.
more limited, right?
Yeah.
Versus, hey, I'm willing to I want to go to the ocean.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think, so that's the first thing is like if your first initial reaction is I want to be close by or I want to be far away, go visit a close by college. But also go visit a college that's not nearby. And you might discover that, you think you're going to be all homesick and that you need to be close by. But I mean, a plane flight is also close by, like it's not that bad. Right. And
And
so
I
you
think
might discover that that you think something and you don't know. And then you visit and you're like, oh man, I would love to be out here in this
yes.
place.
Yeah,
You know?
for sure. And, we can't downplay, and we've talked about this a lot, we can't downplay the college visit because
Right.
that's hands down. In fact, I was just on with a client and he's like, Kristin, and he goes to Texas Tech now.
Yeah.
And he's like, I just visited University of Arkansas. And he said, I think might want to go there because it
Yeah.
felt like home to him.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. Well, that's the thing is I remember a long time ago when I did the college visits, I had colleges I thought I was going to love, and I absolutely did not enjoy being on their campus. And then I had colleges that I thought I was going to hate. And then I was like, oh, this place actually would be really nice to go to school at. You don't have any idea until you go there.
Yep.
And, and also it's part of it is just, like if you don't have any idea, right, there's close and far away, but there's also big and small and medium. And you don't really know what that means and what that feels like. Big is you can get lost so easily at a gigantic state school. And so you need to go and say, does that excite me being around 40,000 other people who you meet someone, you're never going to see them again, or do I want to be somewhere where I'm going to meet the same people all the time? Right. That's a
Yeah.
big difference. Right. And you don't know, because you can't, even no matter how big your high school is, it's not going to be anything like, a big college. And so you need to have some idea of that. And the reason why we say all this is just because of those statistics of so many students. Like, if you transfer, or if you're unhappy, or things like that, a semester goes bad, suddenly you're spending 5 or 6 years, or you're leaving, or you're not finishing, or you're transferring. Right. And that gets, today, that's just too expensive to be just doing for fun.
Yeah. So let's kind of recap just a little bit. And so we talked about, I think number one, you sit down with your kiddo, because I've heard more parents tell me they're just not wanting to partake. They don't want to, do any of this. And I think the very first thing that you need to do is figure out if they want to go to college.
Right.
Step, right. And not to say, let's say they say no, Bobby. That's not to say don't go visit colleges, because they might be afraid. There are a lot of things that might be confusing, right? So figuring out if they want to go to college, or at least having the discussion. Then why do you want to go? What are you trying to get accomplished? Because that may dictate what school they go to as well.
Absolutely.
If they want to be a pilot, OSU in the Texas area might be a great option, right? Because they have a pilot program.
Oh, that's great.
Where you go. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so, that's step one, which is like, if a student can work with you and figure out strengths and things like that, and figure out a college major, that's a great starting point. Another great starting point is just like, looking up some of those things, and just going out and starting to make the list, and just like thinking about, like, start with the ones that just come to mind. Right. But then go on a website like, what is it? College Simply, right?
collegesimply.com. I'm going to put that in the comments. And anybody that's listening, if you want to chime in and you've got questions, please chime in.
Absolutely. And so if you go, and so I would say, go and find a college that you've never heard of, or that hasn't occurred to you, either by searching location, or just colleges that are similar to places, or just interesting places, and just go and read about a place that's not the place where 50 people who've already gone there. Right. And learn some things that way. Right. I think that's a big first step, but it really does come back to just talking. Right. Starting the conversation. And as we've said so many times, if you're, in your junior year now, right, and so you want to start doing college visits this summer, it is time to start having a weekly conversation about, your college prep, your college application process, because in the fall, it's going to get real stressful. And so you need to have that time every Sunday night, or whenever it is.
And I'd say
30 minutes to talk about it.
Where we're at right now, we're really talking to sophomores going into summer, right? That we need to start having these conversations.
Yeah. If you can have a college visit this summer, or a college visit or two the summer after sophomore year, that's going to put you way ahead of the game, because a lot of students don't start thinking about the college choice process until the spring of their junior year. And that's a little late.
It is. And here's the other thing that I noticed, Bobby. For my clients, the ones that have done the college visits, it takes a little bit of the scariness out of what am I walking into, and and especially if you start earlier, there's less pressure right now for them to just go, oh, this is cool. Let's go to the bookstore and let's buy a t-shirt, and let's go eat at the local strip, or at one of the the eating halls. There's not this huge pressure right now. So I think it makes it a little bit less intimidating.
Yeah, absolutely.
To start that early. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think there's, it's a funny thing that I didn't realize this when I went too. When I went on my college visits, I met some people on the tours. Like, I had a freshman who gave me a tour, and I ended up becoming friends with that person when I went to school. And but it took a while to realize, oh, hey, you were that person who gave me the tour. Like, go and meet people and try to find some freshmen out there. And if you are like, hey, I would get along with this person, we might be friends. Hey, there you go. They're going to be there. Right. So
absolutely,
don't forget that those are people, and they exist, and they'll be there. Yeah. So those are just things to start thinking about. And that's basically it. We're always happy to answer questions about these things. Right. And just get the conversation started.
Yep. And I think, we have always talked as well. We've got a college planning visit worksheet that you can get. I'll throw that into the comments later. but it's having the conversation and opening that up and then doing the tours. Is there something more strategic, Bobby, that we haven't talked about, with your work with college admissions that you think that we need to address when it comes to thinking about a college? And there's one thing that you always bring up and you haven't today, and that is, not necessarily going for the school that's out of your reach.
Right. Yeah. So we mentioned, you don't want to go and spend 5 and 6 years if you can help it, right? You want to get out on time. And so, don't pick the hardest school to get into that you really hope you could get into. Go and look, and you want to be in a school where you are going to be competitive, right? Where the GPA range and the score range and all that is in your range. You don't want to be at a school where everyone's high school GPA was higher than yours and everyone's test scores are higher than yours. It's going to be very hard to get high grades at university, and you won't have a fun time. And you want to just go, enjoy yourself, do well, get lots of A's, right? Graduate with a good GPA, because that's how you get a job, right? That's it.
Well, and by the way, college is also supposed to be a little bit fun.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you're, in the computer lab or in the study carrels every single day because you're trying to keep up, that's not fun. And then you're going to burn out, and then you're going to have trouble succeeding, and then you're probably going to want to transfer schools. So
it's not. And I'll tell you, for parents that are worried because their kid's going, well, I want to go to this school because they've got a big football team. Right. It's okay. If they're going to be happy there, because remember what I said in the beginning of this, it's not where you go that determines your success in life. It's what you did while you were there. Right. And if they're happy and they're enjoying it and they're contributing, they're being a part of the community, they're talking to their professors, that's what's important. Yeah.
You want to be at a place where you feel engaged by all the things on campus, and you're going to be out, not sitting in your room, but you're out meeting people and joining organizations and doing things, for sure.
Yep. I'd say that's the gold in this whole conversation.
Absolutely. Right. That's what it's all about. And so it's just starting the conversation and making lists so that you're not just looking at the obvious 3 places or whatever. That's it. You'll find out more about yourself by doing that. And that's what it's all about.
All right, my friend.
All right. I'll see you next week.
Okay. Bye, Bobby.
Okay. Bye-bye.